Happy New Year.
Happy New
I
Year.
don't know whether you're still allowed to say that, but I just dared to do so.
I feel like I feel like tomorrow is the cutoff.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're still
Right
good.
in time.
Hi everyone. Hi Maggie. Awesome. We have some slides prepared today. So the plan is we're going to talk a little bit about the Accelerator, about FemTech Lab. Hi, Tilda.
Hi.
We're going to answer some frequently asked questions about the program. We're going to have time for Q&A. Kai and Tilda from Essity Ventures are going to share how they're looking to collaborate with startups. So we have a packed agenda. We have some slides. As you have questions, ping them in the Q&A, so not in the chat, but in the Q&A, just under all of our faces. And we'll be picking them up as we go, and our team will be picking them up as we go as well. So give me a second to share my screen and we can get started. Boom. Can everybody see that? Yes? Awesome. So, agenda for today, a bit of an intro about FemTech Lab, what we do, what we're about. Agenda for the Spring Accelerator, so the upcoming FemTech Lab cohort. A little bit of a Q&A, some frequently asked questions about the program. And then we'll hand it over to Kai and Tilda from Essity Ventures to describe how they work with startups and what they're looking for in companies that they're looking to partner with in the women's health space. Also, on the line, on the Zoom, we've also got the rest of the FemTech Lab team, which is Tatiana, Kate, and Caroline. We'll tell you a little bit about them in a minute, but they're there answering your questions, active in the chat. So you'll see them at some point in there as well.
Hi guys, I'm Katja Lang, the co-founder of FemTech Lab. I'm sure you've seen us two before. One is blonde and the one is dark-haired, so that's quite easy to distinguish between the two of us. Similar names, a lot of confusion around that, but otherwise fairly straightforward. So Karina and we started FemTech Lab. We founded it in 2020, which was about 3.5 years ago, with a great, amazing mission as we saw it. We wanted to change the lives of women of the future. So we wanted to imagine a different future for females, or the female kind of component, if you want, of the world, whatever shape or form it might take. We believe that there is quite a lot to unleash, discover, and kind of let free into the world. And we imagined the women of the future as empowered, powerful, healthy. And for that, we thought the best place to start is to improve the women's relationships with their bodies. Understanding their cycles, understanding their how we're different, understanding the biology and the kind of almost like philosophy behind what women's health really means. So femtech to us is a lot more than just health. It's a lot more than just women even. It's more about the future of humanity and what kind of shape and form it can take. I guess that was quite a lofty start, but I guess you understand what we stand for.
Yes, you're on the right foot from the beginning of this webinar.
Yeah, and these are quite a few numbers that kind of demonstrate a little bit where we are today, I guess. So not too bad, I would say, for 3 years on the market, having about 2 million people actually following and looking at our content and kind of interacting with what we're doing, including, well, not just the startup world, but way beyond that, the investor side of things, the corporate side of things, and just people who really want to support femtech. And we also happen to have a lot of people who just want to become part of the ecosystem, want to become part of the whole kind of femtech movement, because it is what it is. It's the movement. So I guess that's thanks to the movement kind of aspect of it is that we do have a huge amount of followers and love from, we get a lot of love from the women of the world, mostly women, I guess.
Yeah, and that's actually something that we invite you to take part of as you join the Accelerator and you become part of the pack, part of the portfolio companies, is to join this movement that for us started with a mission 3 years ago, started with a dream, started with a philosophy, started with something really deep, and then has really escalated in a good way into what you see here, which is a large, active, engaged community that is really passionate about women's health and passionate about everything that you're doing. Wide reach around the world, as Kaita mentioned, of people that are really interested in this movement and really want to support it. Over 200 world-class mentors that you wouldn't believe it are applying every day to become part of this platform and to give time to entrepreneurs that join FemTech Lab, which is just so incredible. And VCs and angels that in our Black Book, we have over 300 of them that are engaged and want to invest in the space and make a bet on this space as well. So like we say to our founders, there's never been a better time to bet on FemTech, and that time is now. And our job really is to create a lucky place. We believe that luck is a skill set, a lucky place where founders can come in and get incredibly lucky and accelerating the growth of their business.
Yeah, any other numbers here? You can always kind of find this on our website, I suppose. But yeah, we're very proud of FemTech Lab at this stage, for sure. Maybe a little bit about us, because we want to want you to understand where we come from. So both Karina and I, we have a very extensive background in tech. We worked in tech startups, we were founders, we were working in teams of founding teams and places. So I'm a serial entrepreneur myself. I started, probably the first company I founded was when I was 15 years old. So that was very silly and very naive, I guess. A lot of things changed since then. And I actually managed to exit the startup in 2020, but just before starting FemTech Lab. That startup was actually a platform in fintech. So I suppose I kind of learned how to create platforms and kind of communities. This is my biggest skill set. Apart from that, I'm a professional artist, and which maybe helps us a little with the visuals, which you might see in everything we do.
Yeah. So I got lucky 3 years ago when Katya had just exited her previous business and became available for me to lure her into the world of women's health. My background is very different. I was thinking about this before, I always struggle to introduce myself. I don't know if anyone else has this, to come up with this perfect pitch, but I just feel like I've had many different lives before finding the right one, which is being in this space. Before FemTech Lab, I used to be a professional chess player. That's probably the biggest thing that has influenced what I do now in tech. And I was also a lawyer, which, don't ask me for legal advice. I think Katya thought that I would be more useful on the legal side of things, and I actually am. I'm a terrible actual disputes legal person, but I am technically licensed to practice law in the state of New York. And but majority of my career, in all seriousness, was in technology and building and taking to market AI-based products. And right before FemTech Lab, I was head of product in a fintech startup, which is how I got into fintech, and Kaita and I met. That company has now been acquired. And I was also working with UX designers and data scientists in energy sector to create innovative consumer-facing products as well. But then I found women's health and FemTech, and I just realized that there's nothing else to put meaningfully creative, impact-driven energy into. And here we are. It's also important to talk about our team, because honestly, nothing would happen without them. We're so lucky. These women really drive the Accelerator, the events that we do, and show so much love to all of our startups and partners and everybody that we work with. They're absolutely amazing, and we're so lucky. First, we've got Tatiana, who joined us probably month first or second of this entire journey. And she comes from over 10 years of experience in product and product marketing in tech, working with some of the large corporate brands. And Tatiana came in and basically designed the Accelerator as it is. And it's hard to put into words how much care, thought, and effort is put into making sure that it's extremely personalized to every single company that joins, from setting the goals to making the right introductions to sending packaged information to investors. Yeah, Tatiana is our star. She's our everything. Then we've got Kate. She's the program coordinator. You might have met her at some of our events, checking you in, making sure everyone has got a drink in their hand. And Kate coordinates large parts of the program, so workshops and events that are associated with the program. She's also producing Decoding the Future of Women, which is our annual visionary, amazing fireworks space travel conference during London Tech Week that those of you who are going to end up participating in the spring cohort are going to be pitching at. And finally, last but not least, our new addition to the team, Caroline, who's our head of partnerships, who just joined us this month, or actually in December. And she comes in, so she used to be head of partnerships at Amex, and she really understands how startups can partner with larger brands and how to drive that into something that's meaningful and successful for everyone. And Caroline is managing all of our relationships with various corporates and organizations that are passionate about supporting women's health. And she's there to connect also our startups to those organizations as well.
So yes, I guess this is you who will be lucky to work with these amazing people, our team.
Yes.
Yeah, it's going to talk about the mission.
Yeah, so the mission, so we often get asked, what's up with the cheetah that's on the logo?
And everywhere else, really. This is our totem animal.
Yeah, it's like our ultimate, it's been our inspiration, like visually from day one on our website and our logo everywhere. And I don't know how many of you have read Untamed by Glennon Doyle. Imagine if you're in women's health. It's likely that you have come across that book. If not, we highly recommend it. But when we read it, there was the very first chapter of the book. Yes, already people are responding that it's their absolute favorite, not surprising. She talks about how, so the entire book is about untaming, unleashing this power inside of women. And in the very first chapter, she talks about how she went to the zoo. And in the zoo, she saw a cheetah that was born and bred in that zoo. So she's never been out hunting. She's never been in the wild. She was just, this domesticated cheetah in the zoo. And there was this performance or something that they were organizing for the visitors where they made Cheetah run after like a toy rabbit or something like that. And the cheetah starts running, and suddenly in the run, she starts feeling this like excitement and energy, and she starts just sprinting, like completely going crazy and running as fast as she can. Because even though she was born at the zoo and she's never actually hunted, there was always this instinct, this like power inside of her to hunt, to run, to sprint, and it just like bursts out of her. And she and Glennon Doyle, the author, talks about how it was just this incredible sight to observe, and that she believes that women have that inside of them as well. And we were so touched by that. It resonated so much that we wanted to capture it in our branding, in our logo, because like Katya said in the beginning, to us, FemTech, it's not just about health. It's not just about even women. It's about unleashing this power on the inside that sits inside of our bodies.
How is that for a mission?
No pressure.
And I guess when we say we want to change lives of 1 billion women, I guess I probably should go back to that statement as well here. This means through you guys. So the women that are part of your communities that you're building, women that are that are your clients, women who use your products. These are all the women that we want to touch lives of 1 billion of. So the many startups we get, the more you grow, the more we're getting closer to that number. So we, I guess, how we are structured as an accelerator program. That's we have 12 weeks of the program, 10 of which are virtual. But the first week and the last week are the weeks that you come to London for. So the second week of March, we will see you all at 22 Bishopsgate, London, which is it's in central London. A lot of you would know that's the city of London, where all the banking and all the kind of the financial world of London and Europe probably are centered. And we have these amazing offices with a brilliant view across London. And we would like everybody to mix together, to have a chance to experience this in-person interaction, to meet each other, hopefully make friends, to feel part of this team, part of the community of brilliant minds. That's exactly what we wanted to feel. And obviously we'll have workshops, which Tatiana and Kate will put there for you. Some of them quite challenging. Yes, a lot of in-person week, March 11th to 15th, 2024. These are for those of you who will join the Accelerator.
This is a little bit of a roadmap that we put together and that we show during the in-person week to the cohort. And we thought it would be helpful to share that with you as well, just to give you a sense of what the road of the Accelerator looks like. Like Kaita said, we start in London, we all come together all over the world usually to the city of London, the center of London, where we get ready for the road ahead. And the whole thing culminates with a demo day and demo night at the end of the program, which will be at the Decoding conference in this upcoming cohort. And the road is pretty intense. We got to tell you, there's a lot happening there. We start by setting goals. I'm not going to go into crazy detail, but just to give you an idea, we set goals with the startups during the first week, and those goals massively inform what the next 3 months are going to look like for you with regards to every aspect and module of the program, which are getting your fundraising strategy solid, which includes pitching to investors, having a go-to-market sprint to understand how are you actually taking your product to market and what are the potential channels that you can best accomplish that through, whether it's partnerships or B2B2C or working with NHS or partnering with retailers. This is way more
than wanted to show you, but
way more.
Idea is
there's
that
like something way many special effects that I was prepared for. There's also a product sprint and pitch practice. So you're going to be pitching to real investors all throughout the program, and you're going to be talking as well with various product advisors on tech advice, UX review, and anything else that you need to get your product market ready as well, including regulatory and compliance. And all of that, it's super important to say, there will be workshops and closed webinars during the program, but a lot of it will be informed by your OKRs, and Tatiana will be working very closely with you to make sure that you're kind of focusing on the right things, but also that you're getting the most value out of the program based on your OKRs. These special effects are amazing. And as well, all that is not done in kind of in your own isolation. It's done with the support of the mentors. And this is just a snapshot from the mentor catalog, which is huge and is constantly being updated, and more people are coming in. And right now there's more than 200 people that are there, excited to help you out and are passionate about your success.
Oh, that's the exciting thing. Even more exciting. We have last year we ran the first Decoding the Future of Women conference. This was probably the first proper, as we said, conference that was all about the future. Very futuristic, super inspiring, super fun, but also very kind of, was a lot of educational kind of content to explain to people what the future can look like. And the future, unlike a lot of other kind of conferences in the space, we don't focus on problems. We focus on the futuristic kind of vision of how it can all look like. So we had quite crazy speakers talking about crazy topics, rather, talking about the future of fertility, artificial wombs, and how things can go, how technology can really change the way women operate. But also we had really inspirational speakers, the founder of Fertility, speaking about, how we will reproduce in the future. It's like, it was all absolutely fantastic. And we're bringing again this year during London Tech Week in June, and it will be now 2-day long conference. And if you do become part of this cohort, you will be pitching at that conference to the audience of 700 people. So that's quite good.
And this is what it would look like. Honestly, it's like Katya said, it's an incredible event. We personally are very proud of it. The people that attend tend to get incredibly inspired, and it creates this energy for meetings, for opportunities, for collaborations, for investment. And here is just some of the pictures from founders from last spring's cohort that pitched at the conference. So
you're not just pitching at the conference, you also will have a stand with your products, like you see this with Bomima, a founder here.
Yep. We have a few questions already in the chat, which is awesome. Keep them coming. Kate and Tatiana will be answering some of them like in text, and we'll start answering them now as well after we go through some of the FAQs. So first one is, what is FemTech? Which will also translate into some of you asking like whether your product fits into the scope of the accelerator. So we'll just cover it now. First thing to say, we're not about trying to restrict the term FemTech as much as possible. If you think that you're building something that's benefiting women, women's health, women's wellness, including mental health and wellness, you probably fall under the scope of the program for us. But just to define it, FemTech is product, applications, diagnostics, software, any kind of technology solutions, tech being a very important aspect of it, that serves needs of women. It includes things like reproductive health, of course. It includes things like menopause, female longevity. It also includes things outside of reproductive health. For example, we've got Marcel here on the call today from our previous cohort. And Marcel and his co-founder have a solution for women and in general for people with osteoporosis. And even though it's a more general solution, because women have a different experience around bone health, for us, that falls into FemTech, and we brought them into the program because we really buy into the mission. So same would apply with other solutions. If you're building something that is like a general health solution, but the way that, but either that condition affects women differently, and you're creating a product that tailors for that, you're our gal or guy. So that also includes, just to clarify, because we've got Essity here, and these are their focus areas. It also includes baby tech, or anything that is a product for not just parents but also the children.
So yeah, so this is the new thing that we want to highlight within this application application process. We have expanded into, maybe because I had a baby last year, who knows? But we have decided to now include baby tech into FemTech, because we realized, women on the call will understand me, that women are affected by it more than men are. Who knew, right? And yeah, it's an important one to include, we think. And also solutions for sleep, which also benefit mental health a lot. So this is something we're also looking for.
Yep. I already see a few questions in the Q&A about stage. So yeah, let's address it.
A lot of people seem to be asking about what stage they can apply at. And we are very clear on the website, and we will say it again. We are looking for solutions that already have some traction. So we need to have a product or a prototype out there, ideally tested. Ideally, you would have a few clients, or at least you have some testing and kind of trial there. Even better if you had at least some form of investment already, or you already had friends and family around, or you got some grant from university. So you actually have some backing behind you. So you could, well, first of all, you could focus on the 3 month of really intense program without thinking of, what I'm going to eat tomorrow, which is, a good place to start for a founder. And and yes, that we will be able to help you a lot more when you do have a product in place. So just to be clear here, we cannot at this stage take people with just an idea, no matter how great an idea, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I guess maybe we probably should also say, to be kind to those who have an idea. We do encourage you to follow everything we do, to attend our webinars. We have a lot of startup founders oriented webinars. We have a lot of events, and the community is great. So if you become part of the community, somehow get involved with everything we're doing online and in person, you will get more inspired. Maybe you'll meet a co-founder, maybe you get some way forward with your idea. At which stage you will be able to apply.
Yeah, there's also a good question in there, like, what do we mean by MVP, proof of concept, or like a prototype? Because that can vary depending on the project. That's a good point. So obviously, if you have like an app that you can build very quickly a prototype for, that's different than if you're working on a drug or a therapeutic, or something that just the product development is a different story. So we of course take that into consideration. I would say that if it's software, if it's like purely software or an application, we do want to see a working product. If it's hardware, if it's a device, and you've put together already designs for it, and you have innovative IP, that there's some traction around, that it's not just an idea around the fact that that's technology, it's feasible, but there's like scientific research validation. If you have already prototyped the technology itself, that's the kind of traction we're looking for. We're not expecting for that kind of product to be ready, but we are expecting for product traction to be there, that it's again, it's not sort of at its inception, because like Katya said, if you come in like that into the program and in the first few weeks you discover something that's maybe invalidated the idea or completely changes what you're doing, you're gonna be kind of flip-flopping too much throughout the program and not gonna get the most out of it. And it makes more sense to stay in touch and apply for the cohort, for the next cohort. So yeah, I hope that answered that question. It was a great question.
I guess the next question is really easy. Do I have to be a female to apply? Absolutely not. You do not need to identify as a female or biologically be a woman in any way, shape, or form. We do love to actually have male founders as well, because we love everybody to contribute to women's health and the future of women. It doesn't always have to be just women for women, because, I mean, that kind of limits it. And yeah, definitely encouraging men to join, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Next question: how does the 5% equity contribution work? So
I leave it to the lawyer to explain.
Yeah. Exactly. So you probably have seen this on our website. So the way that FemTech Lab works, we don't take any, there's no fee to apply. There's no like monetary contribution to pay for the program, anything like that. It's financially completely free. Everything we do, everything that we pour into it, we don't charge anything for. However, every startup that participates and becomes part of the FemTech Lab pack and portfolio contributes 5% in equity to do so. This way, we're all aligned, we're all incentivized, and your success is our success. It's a tough business model, but we're very big believers in every company that we bring on board, and we do everything for you to succeed commercially, so we all benefit from that. The 5% works in a way that when you join the program, you sign terms of participation, which we'll obviously share with you later in the application process. And it's in a form of a warrant, which means that you don't have to issue us shares immediately when the program starts, but either when you have a funding round or within 12 months after graduating. So the equity is not conditioned on like whether or not you're doing any fundraising in the next year or anything like that, but it's just for convenience that when you are closing a funding round, you also issue shares for FemTech Lab. Or if that doesn't happen within 12 months, we'll ask you to issue us shares anyways, so we kind of close up that contractual arrangement. We'll happily share more details if you're kind of later down the line in the admissions process. We'll have some materials to explain how equity works, but hopefully that answered the broad question. If you have any follow-ups, ping us in the Q&A.
I guess that brings us smoothly into the next question: what happens after the cohort is finished? So because we are part of your cap table, because we do have equity in your startup, we are there for you and with you, and we're interested in your success, because otherwise we don't get anything, right? So we would love to be able to chat to you regularly. We need to get your updates. We need to understand how you're doing with your product, your market, everything else. Any help you need, we're always there. And also we would love to keep introducing you to more investors. So let's say you joined us at pre-seed stage, you got some funding, and then you know, a few years down the line, you need, you know, Series A, Series B, you need some more investors, some family offices. So, and our investor network also grows almost as quickly as our mentor network, I would say. We get angels and investors and VCs joining our community probably definitely every month, if not every week. So that kind of interest in FemTech as a sector grows as also within the investment communities. And a lot of these people obviously have heard about us and they're joining this, the ecosystem. So we will be able to help you with the funding rounds through introductions, and we will be facilitating this as much as we can. And we don't charge any commission or any of that. So we also one of these people who not, you know, because I know you get a lot of accelerators and you can get a lot of services out there that offer you to help with fundraising for a fee. We don't do that. Just to answer further questions down there. Yeah, what else happens? You always join Decoding, the Future of Women, every year. You're always welcome to come to London and hang out on our, we run more intimate events. I mean, I guess intimate, there were 400 people last time, but kind of smaller events twice a year at the beginning of every cohort. You're always welcome to come over. You're always welcome to network with in person with the people from our ecosystem as well, always. As well as, you know, whenever you're stuck, you have any issues around your product, anything, you know, we're there.
A few other questions before we pass on the mic to our friends at Essity. A few questions around how our mentorship relationships facilitated and how do we facilitate networking within the FemTech industry. So during the program, we'll have multiple checkpoints with the broader group of mentors, but also, as I mentioned, as Tatiana and the team get to know what your goals are, you can be super proactive and open up the mentor catalog and reach out to people. Everyone is categorized with a bio and a link and a contact detail. Or the team will nudge you and tell you that certain mentors are perfect based on what you're looking for. So that's kind of the two ways that we do it. And in terms of the broader industry, as we mentioned, we do events, the conference, we have industry events. We very often speak and participate and partner with different events in women's health in the ecosystem. And it goes without saying, but if we ever pull someone to speak on a panel, and if it's a startup, it's very likely going to be a company like our alumni, a company from our portfolio. So we, give our companies discounts to speak at events or to participate in events. We often pull them to our webinars, and we make sure that they get spotlight as much as possible in the ecosystem as we can offer. So hopefully that answered your question as well. And another interesting one around stage, what if we have a letter of intent for our product, but not an MVP? Stage questions are always there's always really interesting use cases. I would say apply, because it sounds like you have interest. It sounds like you're a B2B and there is a B that's interested. And from my experience, that's sometimes more important than actually having an MVP of the product. So I would say apply. That's a great.
I mean, if you manage to get somebody interested, even before you have a product, we'll definitely want to chat.
Exactly. And it also will inform what you're actually creating. So in B2B, that sometimes actually is even more valuable. So definitely apply. B2B to C. Yeah. Perfect. We would love to see your application. Could you be part of the program and not attend the event at the end due to giving birth around them? Why does that always happen? So we've had multiple times that on our demo days, we have someone pregnant and the deadline and the due date is on demo day. This has happened 2 times or 3 times, Katya?
Yeah, definitely. It seems to be a theme. Yeah, I mean, one of the founders, Meg Murray, from the founder of Postpartum Plan, She was giving birth to her third baby around demo day when she was part of the program, and then she had to sort of join the demo day a year later. I think she even joined the demo day a year later with a baby in her arms like this, like pitching like that, which I think brought a lot of empathy and love from the audience.
And we did a video, so there was a live, not a live, but a recording. And in general, we had a few people that couldn't make it, and we had recordings. I mean, it would be amazing at the conference. It's such an opportunity to pitch. It sounds like it's beyond your control if you could do it. In the cohort just now, I think Jenny from Ovum had her due date. And no, not her due date, she was pregnant. No, she didn't have her due date. She was pregnant, and she was pitching anyways. So one day we'll have like a midwife at our demo day just for
in case
as a backup, but it's okay. So the answer is, you'll have a recording, so that doesn't preclude you applying and getting in. All right, keep the questions coming. If anything, we'll type the answers in. But now we wanted to talk about our partner, Essity. So if you've been, one last thing, application deadline, 28th of January. Don't wait until this weekend is the perfect time to sit down in the morning, fill out your application. We're doing everything on a rolling basis. We have 2 admission panels next week. Just don't wait until the very end. Please, please. Just for your benefit, for our benefit, for everyone's benefit, get it done this weekend, and we'll hopefully meet you soon.
You will get more attention, more love, more consideration if you don't wait for the last day, because last day we're going to get 100 applications within 24 hours and we'll be swamped, and we might miss out something amazing, something important, and something that we will later be upset about. But, you know, it happens. So if you do want to get in, if you do want our full attention, please apply, not the last week.
Yes.
Way before that, ideally now.
Yes, very important. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing and pass on the mic to Kai and Tilda, who are from Essity Ventures, FemTech Lab's official partner, this upcoming cohort. And for more than a year now, we've been working together. And just before I pass it over, Essity has truly been one of the most active corporates and brands engaged in femtech and women's health. And in terms of partnering with startups, unlocking opportunities for startups for growth, we've had 2 of our portfolio companies that have had already quite successful. They're very happy with their partnerships with Essity. And all of you that are applying into the program will be considered, in addition to all the amazing stuff in the Accelerator, for an opportunity to work with Essity. Essity will have slightly different expectations and focus areas and requirements around working with startups. But for our companies, you'll get to know Essity much closer during the program as well. So it's an amazing, amazing add-on. But without more of us chatting, Kai, Tilda, can you say a few words, please?
Karina, what a handover. Don't know what to say. No, but thanks for that. And yeah, hi all. Happy to see you here actually, and so many startups, young companies interested to join FemTech Lab. So Tilda and I and our little team are very happy actually to partner up with FemTech Lab in the 2nd consecutive year now, and again we are fully in it to contribute, right? To support you on your journey. So I won't make that too long, right? Because today it's all about FemTech Lab, and less about us. But still, you might have read the name Essity and still wondered, Essity, never came across what is that, right? And I Googled and looked it up. So let me give you a few, shed a bit of a light, what we do, what Essity Ventures is, and how we want to contribute, support you, possibly on your journey, and what we are looking for. So basically, as you might have seen, Essity is quite a big corporate. So we are doing 12 billion euros net sales per year, active in 150 countries, and having in our categories number 1, number 2 positions, which is in 90 countries. So when I say in our categories, this is our legacy business, which you have seen. We have tissue-based products, from toilet paper to handkerchiefs to female hygiene products, and that's what we've been doing day in, day out over the last decades and even century. So, but we, as every company, as you have, we have a higher purpose, and that is breaking barriers to female health, hygiene, and well-being. So, and we are sort of aware that sort of we can contribute with what we are doing, right? Sort of, but really to live up to this aspiration, we have to do more, right? Sort of to empower women, you know, sort of on their journey. So, and that's was actually the sparking idea to launch Essity Ventures around 2 years ago. Because Essity Ventures is a corporate venture builder, venture studio. There are many names to it. And basically, we have set out to explore new business models, right? Sort of exploring meaning identifying opportunities, you know, building opportunities, validating them, and then scaling them. And we're doing that in two ways. We're doing that sort of through our own intrinsic motivation. So sometimes we build things on our own, but wherever we find partners, you know, companies like possibly you, sort of, we're already on that track, and we say, hey, let's partner up because you have the vision, we have the capabilities, make that big together. So that's basically what we're doing, why we're out there. And we were happy to be here, like sort of for two reasons. Sort of on the one hand side, we want to contribute, like again, to this cohort by supporting you, sort of through things Karina and Katja already shared, through mentoring, right, to support, to sharing, like, I wouldn't say our wisdom, like sort of, but what we have learned, sort of. We have done that in the past. We have run programs like Evolution, where FemTech was part, where we put all our stakeholders together and share everything we know about topics like go-to-market, marketing, and so share that out, sort of empower you on your journey really to build your businesses. So this is one part we again will do through the FemTech Lab setup, right, as a mentor. And even we are still talking about some maybe special blends, you know, so we can like give some extra spices to it, sort of like, so if you join, you can sort of expect maybe some nice perks to it in addition. And the other thing where we see opportunity to come together is through a pilot, right? Sort of, and there basically, as you said, Karina, we have like three things we would like to look with you at, whether there is a perfect match for a pilot. So the one thing is that we, you know, like we're looking for like matches in certain opportunity areas. Yeah? So like you have mentioned some like sort of areas like incontinence, the menstrual cycle, postpartum, or even like baby areas where we have a high interest to find companies who are active in that space. And it's not just taken out of the blue. It's because when you look at incontinence, for example, you might have seen we have strong brands like Tenna, right, who doing, you know, a purpose in a various sort of area, right? But giving the access to the audience as brand strengths, we think like that could be complementary to your solution, and then sort of offering you sort of a way into the market. The same applies to the menstrual cycle, right? We have Bodyform, Libra, Saba, like female hygiene products, or when it comes to postpartum baby in the Nordics, we have a diaper brand called Libero, right, where we have 80% of reach in the audience of young parents. So this is assets we could bring to the table and say, how can we offer sort of additional value propositions together to these audiences? So that's the one thing we would like to, if you are sort of in these areas, love to speak with you about. So the second thing is like sort of complementary capabilities, right? Sort of we have sort of lots to offer, but sort of also like we are not a tech company, right? We are not a medical company. So, but we think we can bring something to the table. So any conversation we might have is around sort of what are you building, right? What are your assets? What are your capabilities, and what are ours? And how can we make 1 + 1 = 3, right? Sort of to do a pilot and possibly afterwards, if that's a match made in heaven, really go big into a deep partnership. And the third thing, and that's coming back also to what Katja and Karina said, is like sort of, again, the stage we're in, right? Sort of like, because, you know, sort of running a pilot in market, giving something to our like consumers and users means that there's already something we could offer together. So if to run a pilot would mean sort of that you have kind of your post-launch, you have a sort of a product in market, which ideally is already scalable, because then we can really accelerate your path. And the thing is, it's not that we are looking to it like right now. That's sort of our angle to it. It might be that sort of if you have the chance and get the chance to join sort of the cohort, start our conversations, get to know each other, right? And when the right point in time comes, and that might be after, right, sort of the cohort, then we're in contact and might do the pilot sort of after that. And that's sort of, you hinted at that. That's also what we have done with the other startups that run through the FemTech Lab. sort of Accelerator, it was not within the cohort, but we got to know each other, we are in contact, and then the right point in time came, and then we ran the pilot together and unlocked opportunities for deeper partnerships. So on the pilot itself, whenever it would happen, right, it would be a paid pilot. So that's what we would contribute, knowing that you are scarce of money, right, But we believe that once we decide on the pilot, there is a possible future together. So that would be our contribution. Of course, we set our targets for the pilot. What do we want to find out? What hypothesis do we frame, right? What do we need to bring to the table? What you bring in, and that we would walk the talk. So yeah, that's about it. Again, it's a little extra we might give to you, in the cohort, but again, of course, the focus is on the FemTech Lab accelerator program. So please don't hesitate to apply.
Can you talk about what focus areas in particular? I know we've put some materials out there, and I think hopefully people have seen it in previous newsletters, but a little bit about how you're looking to what focus areas you have within women's health that you hope to find companies to do pilots with and partner with.
It's a longer list of opportunity areas, and because we don't want to narrow it down, right? There are many opportunities throughout the life cycle of a woman, right, where we can do things together. But these opportunities areas, as I said, are always at points that we sense our users who are using our products at the moment, right? They are at stages in their life where they need more than these products, but we're already talking to them, right? Through our product. So we could also jointly offer additional services, value propositions. And these are things, as I said, the menstrual cycle, right? Incontinence, have postpartum but also postpartum symptoms. These are things like also hormonal health is of interest for us. Like you mentioned, sleep, right? As something which throughout all the phases is, something causing troubles. So it's a mix of things, right? But all things where we believe in, we can we have access to users and they will listen to us. If we say we have a partner who has a value proposition, and please, listen to it, right? It could help you. So.
Thank you.
Any more questions you want us to answer, or you want the Essity team here to answer?
Some people are asking if I applied before Christmas and haven't heard anything, does that mean you haven't gotten in? No, bear with us. We'll get back to everybody. But if you haven't heard from us, it definitely doesn't mean that you didn't get in. So no panic.
Online communities and the features of online communities. I mean, I wouldn't be able to say this off the top of my head. I guess you can look at our website. All our alumni must be on there, and you can have a look through what they've got there on their websites.
There's a question for Essity. Do you partner with, and what is your experience with marketplaces?
Principally open to many business models, right? Go-to-market models are certainly in our scope, because that's also where we have already strong assets, through our own go-to-market. So yeah, I would consider it. Would love to hear from you. Please apply.
Yeah, and same with FemTech Lab, by the way. We accept marketplaces for sure. We've had a few, one of them being Unfabled, which is a menstrual care marketplace, which we're very big fans of. So that's a model that we're also quite interested in.
Definitely. The question is, are you looking at how much the business has made before applying? Well, of course, we're looking at it. That's not to say that that's the only thing that matters to us. So if you say, I have this amazing business and I've built this amazing community following me, and this is the idea and this is the product that people seem to like, but they haven't paid for it yet, that's okay. We'll still definitely consider and definitely talk to you. So it's having revenue is not necessarily like, it's not, it's important, it's great, we'd love it. But if you don't have it, please don't think it's that you shouldn't apply.
Yeah.
If I may add to that, I think revenue, of course, is a great indicator that you have traction for paying customers. But as you said, there are many other metrics, right? Where you could show there is a market, there is a demand for what I'm doing. So, and same applies to us, yeah.
What do you see as your greatest success stories? What are your proudest stories when it comes to founders? We definitely have a few. One I always like to mention, it's not that it's my favorite, we don't have favorites, but in terms of like more mature companies or companies that are sort of at the front lines, one of them is Locked Up, which is a company that joined our very, very first cohort from Spain. It's a breastfeeding support AI-based app from Spain, and a quarter of all new mothers in Spain currently use that product. And I think it's a great company. We've had a lot of our investors that invested in Locked Up. And the reason and kind of why that was a success, we believe, is that the way that they've designed the business was this beautiful collaboration between data scientists and AI specialists and lactation consultants, like women that actually understand the subject matter expertise, and they sit next to each other and some magic happens. And it's always fascinating to watch. And every time I see another AI chatbot pop up somewhere and people kind of feeling afraid that it's going to take over the more, established or other players in the space, I don't think so, because I know what it takes to actually build an AI product, and Locked Up has it. So they have a special place in my heart in that regard. Another, maybe Mewtwo is another example to talk
Yeah, well, I
about.
wanted to say the Mewtwo. Yeah, maybe Kai can talk about Mewtwo, because Mewtwo is one of our alumni that got a pilot with Essity.
Yeah, Peter, like that would be certainly again, also we don't have favorites, but like it's a nice success case where, as you said, Mewtwo is Wendy Powell is a UK-based founder, and a while ago she founded a platform where women with pelvic floor weaknesses, problems, postpartum, and so on, can go to and can subscribe to online trainings, right? Who can get back pelvic floor strength. And incontinence is like her focus, right? And as I said, Tenna is like sort of a product in that space. We said that's a perfect match, because together, like with Tenna, we can help people to cope with incontinence, right? Sort of to live a life with dignity when they're out there, right? But ultimately we can't cure it, right? And we said if we come together, we help as long as they get there, and Mewtwo's solution helps them get there. That is an ideal purpose-driven match. And that was sort of the base for our collaboration for the pilot we did sort of last year. And that turned out to be very successful, right? And also now with Wendy, we're having ongoing conversations how we can scale our partnership.
So cool. We love this story. Honestly, this is one of our favorites. Kate Middleton recommended Mewtwo as a postpartum solution, actually. So in case you're wondering.
And pink.
Yeah. For Essity Ventures, there's a question, Kai. I do not see sexual health in the health solutions section of who we seek. Does that mean that projects in this category are excluded? If so, what is Essity's rationale for this exclusion?
I mean, again, like we have to distinguish between like the application to FemTech Lab, right, and Essity. And please, like, don't interpret what I say into FemTech Lab's Accelerator Cohort generally. But yes, but you're right. We had to exclude some areas, right? It's not meaning that we don't see a potential that this area will thrive in the future, but we just thought about in what areas we have a legacy to play, a reason to play, right? And how our brands associated with it, right? And with fertility, for example, you won't find there directly, or sexual health. We said like we rather think we can bring more to the table in other areas. Might change in the future, but now we have to choose our bets.
Yeah, that's to say, sexual health is definitely on the FemTech Lab agenda. We love this area. We had a few great companies in there, and yeah, we'll have that definitely in the future.
There's always a lot of companies that apply from France that for some reason, a lot of sex tech comes from France. Any French companies here, I don't know why that happens. I guess it makes sense.
Yeah.
Is there a restriction on how old the business needs to be? No. We are happy to take in companies that, this again goes a little bit into the products categories. Very often people work on like highly technical biotechnology or medical technology that might take years to like technically develop. That's fine. Wendy from Mewtwo, for example, had worked on her business, I think, for 10 years, bootstrapped the entire thing without raising any investment for 10 years. And a lot of respect for that, and we took her in. We've also had companies that had just launched like a few months before. I think just, yeah, take that together, what we mentioned about that it can't just be at the idea stage. There has to be some traction. But if you've been able to gain significant traction in a matter of months and you're like riding a wave, we're happy to talk to you as well. All right, a few minutes left. Any other burning questions? Otherwise, we're gonna wrap up. It's been really nice to see everybody. We're very excited to look at your applications and possibly meet you soon in person.
Hopefully, yes.
Yeah. Amazing.
Well done.
And
Thank
yeah,
you so much for joining us.
there's a few things Kate is reminding us to talk about. We have a webinar coming up in a few weeks about emerging go-to-market models in women's health, open for everybody. We're going to talk about everything from like employer benefits, going into NHS, partnering with corporates. So come and join us for that if you're around. And have a good night. Thank you. Thank you, Kai and Tilde.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for having us. Bye-bye.
Looking forward.
Bye, guys.